Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Margarita and today I'm here to bring you my Booktubathon reading wrap-up. So the whole point of the Booktubathon is to read 7 books within 7 days. I knew that was going to be a heck of a stretch for me. There was no way I was going to do that, but I still wanted to challenge myself, so I challenged myself to complete at least 4 out of the 7 challenges, and I did. So I failed the actual readathon, but I passed my own goals, which is really the most important thing. This is the first time I ever took part in the Booktubathon, and I am definitely planning on participating in the future, depending on what grad school is going to look like for me next year. So without further ado, let's just get into the books. The first 3 books I'm going to talk about are the ones that I did not actually finish. So let's just get into that. The first book is The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill, and this was supposed to be the book for the challenge Read a Book with a Beautiful Spine. I mean, this whole book is stunning. Unfortunately, I didn't even get a chance to pick this up during the readathon. There was just no way. So I'm very disappointed in myself because I'm very interested in reading this book, but I will be picking it up in the next month or 2. Definitely, because I'm so interested. The next book I read about 20 pages of, and I DNF'd it because I could not care less. And that is The Sun, the Moon, and the Stars by Stephen Brust. I have had this book on my shelves for probably 6 or 7 years. And I thought, you know, this is a short book. It's under 200 pages. This would be perfect for a readathon. But it's not. It's about these 2 different, I guess, worlds or stories. In one story, you're following a group of artists. And in the other story, you're following, the other story is about a kingdom which lives in the dark because the sun, the moon, and the stars are all inside of a box, which is inside of a cow's stomach, which is inside of a troll's cave, which is at the end of the world. So it was so boring. I could not care less about this book. I will be DNFing it, or I did DNF it, and I will be unhauling it. I don't really care. And the next, that was for read 7 books. That's for that challenge. So, oh well. The next book was The Shadow Queen by C.J. Redwine. This satisfied the challenge of flipping a coin and letting that decide what you read, which book you read. And I read over half of this book during the readathon. So technically I read 4.5 books. And I am definitely going to say that I think that's really great. So I feel like I have completed this challenge. I mean, I read a decent almost 200 pages in this book. So I'm very happy. I'm enjoying it. It's a Snow White retelling. Not my favorite Snow White retelling, but it's good, it's dark, and my favorite are the dragons that are in this story, because who would have thought dragons and Snow White? I like it. I'm enjoying it so far. So now on to the books that I actually completed fully for the challenges. The first book that I read was The Mermaid by Christina Henry. This satisfied the challenge of read a book about something you want to do. I wish I were a mermaid. It might be a little bit of a stretch, but I don't care because I still want to be a mermaid. And this is a story of the Fiji mermaid from P.T. Barnum's museum, Great American Museum or whatever, and how he got a real mermaid to be in his museum. And I really enjoyed this. I liked, it's not as dark as her other books, which I preferred a little bit more, especially Lost Boy. I would highly recommend that over this, but I still did really enjoy this. I thought that the love portrayal in this was very good and very realistic and very honest, and not one of those really toxic loves that you see a lot in books, which I'm starting to absolutely hate. So I really appreciated that, and I think that's why I gave it as high of a star rating as I did, but I did still really enjoy it, and I will pick up again anything that she writes in the future. The next book that I have to talk about is The Laughing Corpse by Laurel K. Hamilton. This is the second book in the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series, and this satisfied the read a book with green on the cover. And holy crap, this was so bad. I read this as an audiobook, which I think might have been part of the issue, because when you're reading a physical book, you can your brain kind of glazes over certain things, especially when they're repeated a lot. but that's not what happened with this audiobook. I had to keep hearing all this stupid shit over and over and over again, and I just realized how poorly written this is, and I will not be continuing on with the series. I'm just not interested. The books are trash. I'm sorry. If it's your favorite series, that's great, but in my personal opinion, this book is trash. It is so poorly written, and I just, no thank you. The next book that I read was Binti by Nadia Korafor. This is the first book in her sci-fi novella series. I believe it's a trilogy. And this was supposed to satisfy the read a book while wearing the same hat the whole time. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not wear a hat. So did I actually satisfy the challenge? Who knows? But I was at work, and I was not gonna put on a funny hat while I was at work. It just wasn't gonna happen, because funny hats are pretty much the only hats that I have. And I don't think my boss would have appreciated me wearing a hat while I was at work. But I did enjoy this. This is about our main character Binti, who gets accepted to a school out in the universe, and she's the first of her people on Earth to ever leave their homeland. So, and then some crazy shit happens, which nobody has ever hinted at happening, so I'm not gonna hint at it either, but some crazy shit happens. I really enjoyed this book. I will definitely be continuing on with the series. My only complaint is that it's pretty, since it is so short, there's certain things that I just didn't understand, and there was no time taken out to explain the different things in this world and why they're significant and what certain pieces of technology even do. I mean, you can guess at it a little bit, but it's not actually explained to you very well. I thought it was very cool how much math plays into this world, because let me tell you, I would fail at that world. Math is not my strength, especially once it gets past algebra. I don't know what math is after that. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I definitely enjoyed this. I will be continuing on with the series. I have been put on the wait list for the second book in the series as the audiobook at my library, so I'm just waiting for that to come in. I'm definitely very interested in this series, and I will be continuing on. And then last but not least, I have The Shack by William Paul Young, and I listened to this one on audiobook also. And this was for the challenge of read a book to movie adaptation, and I've already seen the movie before, and that's why I bought the book. I did not get a chance to actually find the movie while the readathon was going on. I can't find it at my library. I can't find it at Redbox. I can't find it, you know, on Netflix or anything like that. So I didn't actually get to watch the movie during the readathon, but I have seen the movie, and now I have read the book. And it's just as good as the movie. I think the movie is a little bit more hard-hitting because you can actually see it, and the story's like right there in front of you and you're watching it unfold as opposed to reading about it. Or maybe that's just because I have a horrible like imagination when it comes to picturing certain things while I'm reading. But definitely enjoyed this. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I cried like a little baby pretty much from not even from halfway on, like just sporadically throughout this book I was crying like a little baby, because this follows our main character Mac, and his daughter is taken away from him in the first like 2 chapters of the book. It's not a spoiler because it says it on the first line in the on the back is about it. So it's not a spoiler. You know that that's going to happen. But it shakes his faith in God and in the world, and he can't overcome his grief of losing his youngest daughter. So God invites him to come to the shack where, you know, this horrible thing has happened, and to spend the weekend with him. And it's about his relationship with God and all that stuff. And it's so good. And I highly, highly recommend it. Or at least watch the movie if you don't want to read the book. You're gonna cry though. And if you don't cry, I feel like there's probably something wrong with you a little bit. I'm gonna judge you a little bit if you don't cry during the movie, because it's very, very hard hitting. So those are all of the books that I read and did not read during the Booktubathon. Like I said, I will definitely be continuing on participating in future years to come, and I'm very excited. Let me know in the comments down below what books you read for the readathon, or if you've read any of these books that I talked about, your thoughts and opinions on them, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!